Hello, my name is Anlyn Avalon and I am a water witch and water priestess. And I know it has been a really long time since I have made a video, actually a couple of months. So life has been crazy. It's been so crazy, lots of up and downs. I post about it a lot on social media, so if you're interested, you can check out what's going on over there. But we are coming up on the third week of our work within the Water Priestess training Well Maiden cycle. And this is the third time that we're doing it, but something that I've been meaning to do, to post for some people in there, but also just as a general, like, here's some information, is about sacred water tending with mobility issues. So for whatever reason, let's say that you have mobility issues, whether that is crippling anxiety, so you stay at home a lot, whether it's you don't have a car, so you can't actually go and visit, or if you have a physical disability that doesn't allow you to hike to a location or drive to a location. None of these reasons are reasons that you cannot tend the water. Basically, what I'm trying to say is just because you have mobility issues doesn't mean that you cannot work as a water priestess and still do sacred water tending. And I'm going to give you a couple of ideas on how to do it. Of course, it's going to be done more in the astral realm rather than the physical. If you follow my work, I'm a big advocate for doing our work with nature and in conjunction with nature. However, just because I'm an advocate for it doesn't mean that that's the way it has to be. So if you find, for whatever reason, maybe it's just you're way busy this week and you can't make it out to your sacred spot, here's a couple of ideas for you to kind of work through this and still connect with a specific location or body of water, or bodies of water. So first things first, grab your notebook, grab a pencil, and start taking notes because I'm about to info drop. Okay, so the main thing that we can do to kind of help with this is use the internet. So let's say that you live in the US and you want to do sacred water work with a specific body of water in the UK. Let's just call it let's use the Chalice Well as an example, okay? Now, of course, you can order water from the website, you can get your friends to send you water, but if you don't have any of that, you still want to check it out. So first thing is you go to their website and you actually look at the website of the sacred site. There's a lot of websites for that. A lot of people have a lot of sacred sites either have a page on a bigger website or they host their own website. So that's a great place because you can kind of learn about it. There's usually a little history, there's usually a little bit of local knowledge, and there's usually some really great pictures. So you can start there and then you can do things like print off those pictures or take screenshots of them and keep them on your phone. Now, this is for personal use and for magic as well. So let me just make clear that you should never be taking pictures and stuff off of the internet and using them to promote your work because that's technically plagiarism or copyright infringement. However, if you're trying to do sacred work for a sacred site and you screenshot the image of the actual sacred site and you use it in your ritual and that's all you use it for, you're good to go. So the next thing that you can do is look and see if there's a virtual tour. Now, when you go to the Roman bath museums, which is about an hour or two away from the Chalice Well, they have a virtual tour that you can take by visiting their website. So you go to the website, romanbaths.co.uk, it's the museum's website, and then you look for virtual tour. The other thing that you can do is look at some of the different exhibitions. So a lot of times by going online and looking at these places, you can actually educate yourself by following the online guided tour or by looking at the different artifacts that were found there. But now let's say it doesn't have a website, or it does, you can use this in conjunction with, but let's just say that you want to go visit St. Nectan's Glen, right? And you can't get there by car. You cannot get there, by walking. And I actually don't know if they have a website. Let's assume that they don't. So they probably do, but let's just pretend that they don't. So in this case, what you can do is go to Google and you can find the address or the location of the sacred site. Stonehenge is another great one. And then you put it into Google Maps. Then you switch over to satellite view, and then you can zoom in and you can get pretty close. So I did this recently within like the past couple of months. So I'm in the Sisterhood of Avalon, and I was doing their second year quest. And I'm very, very connected to the Glastonbury landscape. I know it very well. I've walked it physically. I've walked it in visualizations and on satellite. So during the second year quest, we were kind of exploring some of the different landscape in Glastonbury itself. And there was actually a section that I'd never experienced before. And I knew where it was, but I couldn't get on an airplane and go hop across the pond and go see it physically. So I got to Google and I went on the satellite and I put it in, and then I looked at it from above, and then I put it on street view and I kind of like walked the streets around it, kind of looking up and down. It's not perfect at all. Like, it's not perfect at all, but it's better than nothing. So step one, look for their website, see if they have one, and start pulling off information from there. Step two, see if there's a virtual tour. If there is, take it. Step three is to use Google Maps and look from a satellite view and then switch it to street view. Let's just say that your site is really obscured and there is trees covering it so you can't see from satellite view. There's no website and there's no virtual tour. What you can do next is there's 3 different ways that you can search to kind of connect with the visual of the sacred site. So the first thing is you take to Google and you start Googling the actual name of the sacred site, and then you can actually like look in the pictures and start finding pictures that other people or other pilgrims or other sacred people or just tourists found, and then you can look at those. The next thing is to take over to Instagram and search the hashtags. So if it's Chalice Well that you want to see, hashtag Chalice Well, one word, you just put it all in there like that, and then you can look at other people's photos of their time in those places. And then the last one is on YouTube, where you can do the same thing. You can do a general search the hashtags, and you can then look at other people's mini tours that they took, that they posted online. You'd be surprised. There's actually quite a few different sacred sites and access to the images of this via the internet. That's the one great thing about the World Wide Web and this sharing. So let's take it to just your local water. So let's say that you want to sacred tend the river that's up the road, but you have mobility issues. So it's really, really close. First off, see if maybe like one time you could go. See if someone could take you. And if you have that opportunity, then gather some water from that sacred source and bring it back to your home. Bring a little bit of sand, a little bit of rock, some nature, natural debris. But I mean, don't like take pounds of it. I'm talking about like, just a little bit of everything. You can make yourself a jar with water, sand, shells, sticks. You can choose what you put in there. If you put the water in there, it's going to get icky. But if you choose to just do like sand, sticks, feathers, rocks that you found in that particular area, you can put that in a jar, and then that can sit on your altar. That can then become a tag lock, which for that particular location. And so you can then hold that jar to connect with the Genie Loki or the local spirits that dwell within that particular place. While you're there, if you have a chance, take a picture. Then you've got the water, you've got material from the physical place, and now you have a picture of it. If that's not possible, Don't worry. But if you have the opportunity to do it at least once, try gathering all that stuff. Be sure to bring an offering of some sort and make sure that you let them know, like, hey, I have mobility issues. I'm taking these things so I can connect with you from my particular place and do sacred work there, so that they understand that you're just not like, oh, hey, I'm here to pick up this stuff. So, you know, that way, and talk to the spirits while you're there and let them know. So that way you kind of have that understanding and reciprocity, and you're not just like some crazy person out there stealing water and sand, right? But let's just say that none of that is possible. Then, again, back to Google, back to the satellites and the maps. And you actually may be able to mess around with other websites. There's probably a better website than what I'm even telling you right now. I'm sure there's better satellite images and websites out there. So if you find them, use that. Otherwise, print out a map. Print out the Google map with that pinpoint of where your sacred site is. Keep that on your altar. Then zoom in again and take a satellite image of it, of the water, and keep those things on your altar, and then you can use those as focal points. The same way that you can use a tarot card kind of as a visualization point, where you can look at the actual card itself and be like, okay, this card's the Queen of Cups. And so then you can do a visualization where you close your eyes and you go into an altered state, and then you visualize that same image right there of the tarot card, the Queen of Cups, and then you step into the card in your visualization. You can do the same thing with your printed off pictures of your water locations. Now, the last thing here is doing the actual work. So now you have the stuff, right? You've got the satellite views, you've got some of the tag blocks, you've got a way to actually access the energies of the water. You're going to be doing most of this work on the astral plane because you're not going to be in the physical environment. So set your space, do your rituals, and do your visualizations. Step through that image, or start building an astral temple in your meditations that looks very similar to the sacred area that you want to tend, but you can't physically get to. At that point, you can start going to your astral temple, which will then be a mirror of that physical place, and you can start doing the work. However, key point here, when you're working in the astral and you want to then send that energy into the physical, make sure when you're in your astral temple and you're doing your work that you visualize yourself sending that through the astral temple into the actual physical world, the mirror. Let Alice cross back through the looking glass, and it kind of has that same idea of that working through the other world, kind of that mirrored, but not really. Okay, if you don't want to do the jar, the other thing that you can do is make a pouch. And obviously you don't want to use water for that, but you can still put in things like rocks, sand, sticks, and then you can carry that pouch, or you can even take an image of the place, fold it up, maybe even do a really cool origami of some sort and put that in the pouch too. And then you have a pouch that you can carry with you that has all of the tag locks of your sacred place, the photo, the sticks, the sand, any rocks or anything like that. Okay, so I talked a lot. I hope that this gives you a couple of ideas on how to do your own rituals at home, but for a sacred space. And for those of you that are in the Well Maiden course, I will absolutely be posting this in the group so that you guys can use this in conjunction with the material of actually going out to the physical landscape and doing the work. I will try to get more videos up soon. We'll see what 2020 brings. Thanks, guys.